They grew up as a fat child, and now look where they're at. They are obese. I grew up as a fat child. I am obese. It sets children who grow up fat will be fat grown-ups. Good morrow, everybody. My name is Robin, also known as Sunny Side Up Gal, and you are my Sunny Side Up pal. Good morning, good morrow, and good day. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, please consider giving me a subscribe and go ahead and like the video because me know you're gonna like the video. And if you are not new here and you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, and thank you very much for tuning in every week. If this is like your second or third time, let me know in the comments below. What are you guys thinking? What do you think? Are you liking it? Are you having a good time? Because I am also having a great time. And if you are a member, thank you so much for becoming a member. If you're like, whoa, member where? What? Members? Yes, I do offer a membership. It's only $2 a month, and you get an extra video every day. That would be crazy. You get an extra video every weekend, and you get member first status for most of my videos, if not all of them. Pretty much all. Maybe not this one, though, because I am filming and posting same day, which is crazy. Because guess what? Mommy is off today. I was going to plan to take a half day, but I have a feeling that this is not. I don't know. I'm hyping myself up. But anyway, I have a biopsy today on my uterus. If you're like, whoa, Robin, what? Biopsy on your uterus? What happened? So like 2 or 3 years ago, I got precancerous lesions in my uterus because I was obese most of my life. So if you've been obese most of your life and you're having very, very heavy irregular periods, I would suggest you go get that checked out ASAP because mommy let it go for way too long. It could have been cancer. But anyway, today, on a lighter note, we are going to just sit and chit and chat and talk a little trash about a newish, I think it's newish, podcast that was sent to me by a subscriber. So if you are listening, Abby, if you're watching, thank you very much for sending me this. I'm excited. Let's read the message. Sorry, Abby, we are going to read the message. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Message says,
"Hi, Robin. I think it'd be a super interesting thing to react to. Insane Copes here."
And it is. It is literally a entire podcast of two people who are just coping and being fat. And I'm here to debunk some of the things that they say and maybe just let's just imagine that I'm a part of the podcast and I'm playing devil's advocate or something like that. I'm arguing and debunking anything that they say, basically. Maybe I might agree, I might agree. So the name of the podcast is called FatspoPod. Again, it's two people who are of the obese and they are sitting and chitting and chatting and talking about being fat, but also like maybe talking. I haven't listened to a full episode of the podcast. This is my introductory to the podcast, and I may be covering them a couple more times because I listened to a couple reels and I'm just like, these people are dumb. But anyway, so you may find this person familiar. So the first person who is a host of the podcast, their name is Jessica Blair. Her name is Jessica Blair. She is a fashion lover and menace to society. She's based in Chicago, and let's take a look here. She may look familiar. So this is, I believe she may be like a model or something like that. She got a pretty face. She do be taking pictures. But I think what they're mostly known for is like, I believe Jessica Scott, I believe she may have, and I could have dreamt this. Let me know if I did dream this and this is not true. It might not be true, but I believe she probably got like plastic surgery, not plastic surgery. I believe she got weight loss surgery, but her stomach is still like chilling. She's actually popular for her stomach, I believe. I'm not going to say she's oddly shaped, but it is not a usual shape. And it is not a conventional shape. Like, it's not something that, like, let me just say it. It is an odd shape. Let's look. So here is her body. But is it odd? I mean, I think all bodies can be beautiful. Is it obese? It is obese. And I don't know. She was blessed with a skinny face, though. I mean, her face is super skinny. So it's an unusual, I think, is it loose skin also? But I feel like we have, like, she's popular just for the size. I mean, she obviously has a personality. She's more than her body, but she's grown. I only recognized her because I've seen people cover her because of the way of her body. Because of the way her body looks. That's it. I'm just going to say that. I've seen her being covered in the past, she's on TikTok and she was showing off her stomach. And so therefore my brain goes, that's all she's known for. Sorry, but that's just me. She's probably, I don't know, maybe she has something else that now she's going to be known for the FatspoPod. But anyway, let's look at the other person who's on the FatspoPod. This other person is called Pranks by Cat. Another person of, are they a photographer? Let's read. Yes, they are. New York City and LA photographer, co-host of FatspoPod, Bliss Bakery. Okay, so Kat is a photographer. There is Jessica. Cute, cute, wonderful work. I think this is Kat. It is Kat. They have very pretty lips. I will say that. I will say that. Are they obese? Yes, we know that. But anyway, let's get to their podcast reels. Let us begin. What I'm going to do, again, this is just going to be a little introductory to their podcast, and then I do plan on covering their podcast in the future because they do be saying some crazy stuff. So sit tight. Let's sit. Let's chit. Let's chat. Let's talk a little or a lot of trash.
Trash.
All right, here's the FatspoPod Instagram page. My internet is just like, is it my internet or is it my computer? Okay, so here's the FatspoPod page. I think they just started. There's literally nothing on here, and this is from 2 weeks ago. So yeah, they literally just started. Let's go through all of these reels. So this is their first post. It says, we're talking about our first fat icon tomorrow night. Can you guess who it is? Follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts and using the link in bio. And again, this is from 2 weeks ago.
Wasn't it crazy that we all used MyFitnessPal as kids? And now we're like, what if we did an ad for MyFitnessPal, guys?
Guys, what if we strapped Apple?
Did you guys ever use MyFitnessPal as kids? I'm 35, so that wasn't around. I don't know how old these people are, but if you're like if you're Gen Z or like a younger millennial, did you ever use like weight loss apps or anything like that? You know what's crazy is that I was told that I was fat, not directly by my stepmom, but she was like telling her friends how fat I was. But like, even when I tried to like lose weight when I was in high school, it was almost like I wasn't allowed to do that. I don't know. Am I like, I'm not about to open up some trauma, so let's just keep going.
Watches to our kids so we can monitor their exercise and make sure they're like losing the right amount of calories I want them to lose.
Please. Otherwise.
Oh my gosh, though, but like, listen, the obesity rate in children have, I think, quadrupled since the 90s. And I'm not saying that we should put a Schmallery tracker on children, but like, if your kid is obese, it is your fault because you're responsible for this child and you should fix that. So if it requires you tracking their Schmalleries, then yeah, then maybe you should. I feel like a lot of people in the fat acceptance community, like clearly these people are definitely like, nope, Schmallery counting is bad and any kind of diet culture is bad, and they believe that any type of like change to a diet or anything that involves control of weight is diet culture and should be abolished, and they're not taking into the account that like how dangerous it is for a child to be fat growing up as a fat child.
No seconds. Wasn't it crazy that we all used MyFitnessPal?
No seconds. But listen though, they grew up as a fat child. They're talking about their fat child trauma. They grew up as a fat child, and now look where they're at. They are obese. I grew up as a fat child. I am obese. It sets children who grow up fat will be fat grown-ups. But no, for real. Children who grow up fat will be fat adults, and it's setting them up for failure. I have clearly some problems. I have the hardest time to lose weight. I'm still on I'm locking in, but like I am bouncing back and forth between the same 5 pounds, and it's annoying as hell. But it wouldn't be so hard if I didn't metabolically destroy my body like for 30 years. Or wait, 25 years. Let's just say 25 years. Like, it is important for kids to be on a healthy diet if they're obese. Regardless if they're obese or not. I don't like this argument. So far, unimpressed. So far, I'm reading this as,
I'm a person who likes obese children, and I don't care about the health of our children.
so ew. Okay, it's almost like the purpose of clothes is to fit our bodies, not the other way around. Designers can't make plus size clothes, models are hangers.
To be hangers. They're supposed to be hangers for the clothes. The clothes are not meant to be worn by humans.
No, and the clothes should look the same on us all. I like when our bodies are all the same. Thank you.
I think it's really a marker of talent when a designer can only design clothes for one specific small body type.
The crazy thing is, and I've said this before, I think it's so bizarre to see. So let's be honest, a lot of people in the fat acceptance community are social justice, peeps. And I think it is bizarre to see so many people fight tooth and nail and try their hardest and cancel these designers, or they talk a lot of shit about designers to fight. Like, they're fighting so hard for fast fashion when I think all of us know that fast fashion it blows, right? Here's what I think about fast fashion. I don't plan on, unless it's like a special occasion or really, really something I cannot live without, which I haven't bought like brand new clothing items since like last year. I think I did buy some dresses, but they were from Ross, so I practically saved them from the landfill. I can't think of anything. I'll buy brand new jeans, and I mean, I bought like a jacket for another country because it was going to be freezing and I'm from Florida. But I won't be buying fast fashion because there are so many clothes, you guys. There are so many clothes. We could stop creating clothes for 100 years and people will still have clothes on their back. There are so many clothes. There's so many clothes going into the landfill. There are so many clothes in the thrift stores. I think it's so weird that this community is so for, social justice, and they're so for, I mean, a lot of them probably recycle and a lot of them probably do, I don't know what I'm trying to say. They're so humanitarian, they're so, or they show up as that. They're so they like to come off as like ethically minded or virtuous or altruistic is the word I was looking for. Altruistic. So they are all of those things, and then they're fighting for fast fashion. It just feels so fucking weird to me. I understand that people do deserve to have clothing, but I mean, I'm sure this gallery here has plenty of clothing. We know that Samira and Tess Holiday, who are both fat activists who are constantly fighting for fast fashion and large, and larger sizes in the fashion industry.
What I was trying to say is that we know that their closets are full. These girls have tons of clothes.
And it's like, how about you guys stop growing? The thing is it never stops, right? It never stops. Like they could all be even a size 20, I would say maybe a size 22 or a size 24. That's enough, right? I don't think we need to get much bigger than that. If you can't fit into fast fashion, then you need to start making your clothes at home. I'm so sorry. If you can't fit into fast fashion, which is mostly stretchy, everything's made out of fucking spandex and elastic now. If you can't fit, you need to do something about it or make shit at home. But anyway, you guys go to the thrift store. Not only will that help the environment, you're going to be helping your local economy as well, and maybe possibly a small business if you don't go to just Goodwill. Yeah, doesn't that bother you though? Let me know if that bothers you. Like, have you noticed like why are they so, like, they come off so ethical and they're so like, I don't want to use, AI and I don't want to waste water and I only use glass, like I recycle and I do all this stuff. But hey, if your fast fashion clothing company doesn't offer big girl stuff, then I'm gonna cancel you. I don't know. It's dumb. It's dumb. Like, why? Get creative. Also, you have a lot of clothes. I'm sure this person has a ton of clothes. I'm sure this person has a ton of clothes. I mean, they're on Instagram. They're an Instagram or a TikTok influencer. They probably get clothes thrown at them. They probably have stuff in their closet that they've never even worn. It's annoying.
People who demonize fruit because of the sugar in fruit, it's fruit, honey.
Sugar and carbs bad, make fat. Fat worthless.
I almost said yum, and then you went fat worthless. So not yum. Ew. Yeah. People who demonize.
Okay, listen, you guys might hate this, but I am definitely one of those people. I'm not demonizing fruit. Like, I love fruit. I love fruit.
I love to tour.
Bananas are one of my favorite foods, but I don't have right now. I'm on a weight loss journey, and I don't have fruit because I have PCOS, and it took me a long time to reverse my insulin resistance. But I still, because I have PCOS, I still have some insulin sensitivity issues and some insulin response, timing. I'm testing different foods, but I am finding that like starchier stuff like bananas or even apples, my blood sugar can be affected the next day. However, when I have potatoes, it's not as bad. When I have bread, it is not good. When I have rice, it's not good. But I am one of those people. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. I am one of those people who believes that like fruit is like a dessert. Fruit is a treat. Fruit is sweet. It's nature's candy. If you don't believe that and you're like, no, fruit is almost as equivalent. Fruit is equivalent to vegetables. I'm sorry, but you're wrong, because fructose is like, fructose, sucrose, whatever. Fructose, table sugar, wherever you're getting your sugar, maple syrup, tamarindo syrup or sugar, coconut sugar, sugar in the raw, like all of the different sugars out there, guess what? They're still sugar. They still have an insulin effect. They still have a glycemic index. They still have, they still raise your blood sugar and then require an insulin bolus, which if you are insulin resistant, then you're going to store fat when you are eating those items. So I know it sounds crazy. I promise you guys, I am not demonizing fruit, but if you are locked in on a weight loss journey and you are insulin resistant, you should reduce your fruit to like maybe once a week, or maybe just like lower carb fruit. So fruit that has extra fiber in it, not starch, but like strawberries. Strawberries I frequent quite often. Blueberries are in the house quite a bit. Mommy loves blueberries. I love them. Okay. But fruit has a glycemic index. Well, let's take a look at the most popular fruits. Fruits. So we're going to look up the glycemic index of the most popular fruit. And the glycemic index is a rating system that measures how quickly a carbohydrate-containing food raises your blood sugar levels compared to pure glucose. Foods are ranked from a scale of 0 to 100, with pure glucose acting as the benchmark at 100. So think about this. So pure glucose is like the sugar that's like going through your bloodstream, right? Let's look at the GI, the glycemic index of table sugar, and we'll see how close it is to actual glucose. And that should kind of give you like a range of where the fruit is. Okay, so the table sugar has a glycemic index of approximately 65. Again, pure glucose is 100. So the most popular fruits, let's see here. All right, so we are looking at an glycemic N. We're looking at a glycemic index chart by the Arkansas Heart Hospital. Okay, let's look for the fruits.
Fruits, yeah.
All right, so fruits, glycemic index. We've got cherries, grapefruit, prunes, raspberry, apple. So these are popular fruits, okay? Bananas have a glycemic index of 48, and watermelon has a glycemic index of 72. That is so weird. I thought that watermelon was low GI because it's mostly water, but it is super sweet, isn't it? It really is super sweet. But can you see how close that is? It's 72 compared to glucose. And then look at this, you guys. Splenda, if you guys are drinking anything with sucralose or Splenda, it still is like super close to glucose. But anyway, back to the fruit. Fruit still has a glycemic index, and if you're not careful, you can overdo it. So this is just like maybe one, I think it's a cup, right? It doesn't say, but usually they measure it like this is how much of a glycemic index this fruit has, this is how much a cup of this fruit has, right? That's usually how it's measured. I could have just made that up though. But anyway, fruit still has sugar in it, you guys. Fruit is still, I mean, it still raises your blood sugar. So I'm not necessarily saying it's bad, but I mean, you could definitely, if you're addicted to sugar, you could definitely be like, I'm eating fruit because I need sugar, right? You could definitely be doing that. That said, mommy does, I didn't know that cherries had a low GI. I thought they were higher. Blueberries are on here. That's what I do. Blueberries and strawberries, which are on here as well. Cherries, really? Cherries? This has to be wrong because I've had like a ton of cherries and my blood sugar was like, girl, you're gonna have a stroke. It doesn't say what it's measured in. Like it would be easy. I'd be like, okay, that's just measuring one cherry. All right, so measuring the GI, the following international standard method, the GI value of food is determined by feeding 10 or more healthy people a portion of the food containing 50 grams of digestible carbohydrate and then measuring the effect of their blood glucose levels over the next 2 hours. Okay, so 50 grams per food. That's interesting. I'm shocked that cherries were like the smallest GI. Obviously, different bodies will react differently to other foods, but I am shook. I am shook. Cherries are so sweet. Like, I almost don't believe that. But let's look at the lowest GI stuff. So, chickpeas. Didn't know that about chickpeas. I thought they were super starchy. And kale, clearly, most of these vegetables are good. Potatoes are obviously going to be higher. Baked russet potatoes have a higher GI than glucose. But it's so weird. I can have like french fries or potatoes now and like my blood sugar is back to normal in an hour. But when it comes to bread or rice, that is not the case. Actually, rice still fucks with my blood sugar like the next day. It's bad. It's not good. All right, but anyway, just a friendly reminder, look at Splenda. Splenda is sucralose, you guys. Splenda is sucralose. So if you see something with sucralose, it's going to spike your sugar. That's why I gave up Splenda a long time ago, you guys. I gave it up a long time ago. Sometimes though, if I do have a Red Bull, a sugar-free Red Bull, it does have sucralose in it. But I think the monk fruit one has less. I don't know, it's good. Anyway, let's continue.
As fruit, because of the sugar and fruit, it's
Yeah, I can. Yeah. Sugar, to me, personally, me, myself, and I,
Fruit.
is a dessert now. It is, I have no desire for it. Like, I really don't. I mean, sometimes I'll crave apples, but I put soy sauce on them. I think that's a Filipino thing or just my mom's thing. I don't know. But anyway, I I love soy sauce on my apples. And even when I have like watermelon, we put tahini on it. And I haven't had bananas in a while, but again, bananas are still fucking with me metabolically. What's another fruit that I will allow from now? Oh, strawberries and blueberries. But the thing with strawberries and blueberries is I will have them, but then like there's sugar and I'm a sugar addict. And so I'll just start pouring a bunch of coconut cream on them and just go ham on everything. And it's just like it fucks with my carb count. That's the thing.
The cottage cheese of it all.
Okay, so nothing against cottage cheese, lie, and Greek yogurt, truth, but I prefer my ice cream to be cheeseless. I like it. I honestly miss dairy, and I miss having these options. Like, I miss so much having the option to reach for cottage cheese. But I do feel a lot better without dairy in my life, you guys. I will be honest with you. If you guys have Hashimoto's and haven't tried giving up dairy or gluten, it worked for me. It's working for me.
No more dairy, no more wheat, no more sugar.
Actually, I know it's working for me because the week before last, I went to a wedding and I had all the carbs, all the sugar, and all the gluten, and even alcohol. And it took a week for me. I am just now coming out of a Hashimoto's flare. Like I'm still kind of like a little soupy brained. Yesterday was really bad. I think and it's so crazy because I got extra sleep. But yeah, cutting out that food has been very, very helpful.
cottage cheese of it all, which we can also still see now.
Oh,
The amount
yeah.
of people I see putting Greek yogurt and cottage cheese and everything because of
Like
protein.
blending up the cottage cheese and being like, this is my favorite way to make ice cream.
The cottage cheese of it all.
Okay, I do like this person. Kat seems really fucking chill and funny. I like them. Maybe. regardless, but I used to be one of those people where I would just do cottage cheese on everything. And right, you know what's pissing me off is I had to replace everything. And as a ketogenic girly, most of the stuff that we replace, it requires dairy. So like I used to make this thing called fathead pizza, and instead of like gluten and like flour, which has gluten in it, but like instead of using gluten to like keep your pizza dough together, because gluten is like the protein that like makes it stretchy and all that jazz, we had to use cheese. And now I can't have any kind of pizza, and I haven't had pizza in quite a long time. And I know you're like, Robin, they have vegan pizza. That's carbs, right? Nutritional yeast, not the same at all, but that's okay, because every once in a while I will allow myself to have these things. I just have to realize that when that happens, I might have, some inflammation, right? And I just can't overdo it and make myself sick. Okay? Oh, the other thing though too is this is how I figured out that I should have dairy, is like every single time I went into a Hashimoto's flare in the past, like where my hair was falling out and stuff like that, I was having so much dairy, you guys. It was fucking crazy and disgusting actually how much dairy I was having. But too much dairy. Too much dairy. I'm talking, and I'm ketogenic, so it's just like heavy cream and everything on everything. Pour heavy cream on everything. Put cheese on everything. And the only dairy that I'm like chill with now is just butter. But even still, I feel like I can overdo butter. I feel like I can. I think it's possible.
The man she was seeing at the time once jokingly.
Okay, so this one says our first episode is now live, and about the diva, the legend, the icon, Cass Elliot. Link in bio to watch and listen. All right, so if you guys are not familiar with Cass Elliot, she is a member of the Mamas and the Papas, and she died. And for the longest time, you guys, this is actually pretty sad. This isn't true, but for the longest time, there was a rumor saying that she died from eating a ham sandwich and choked on it. But what really happened, I think, was barbiturates and alcohol. Let's take a look. Okay, Cass Elliot died in her sleep from a heart attack. My bad for even saying barbiturates and alcohol. It was just so common in the time, you guys, okay? The iconic Mamas and the Papas singer passed away at 32 following a successful sold-out solo run at the London Palladium. How sad. No drugs in her system, confirmed her cause of death as a heart failure caused by obesity. Oh my gosh.
Obesity does not cause heart failure.
Just kidding, it does. The famous urban legend that she died choking on a ham sandwich was a rumor spread by her inner circle to prevent people from falsely assuming her heart attack was drug related. I guess that's kind of sweet. I guess that's nice. But they made fun of, actually, I think the Mamas and the Papas made fun of her quite a bit for being fat. And no one's getting fat except Mama Cass. She, you know what though? She laid it on pretty heavy herself. Like she kind of leaned into it. She had a beautiful voice. But here she is. And she was a mom, which I believe is super sad. You know, you're leaving your kid behind. I don't know who their kid's dad is, though. And if you're like, who are the Mamas and the Papas? They are a singing group. They sing that all the leaves are brown, and the sun is there, and the sun is there. California, California, there. On such a winter's day, ba 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 ba. And the John Phillips had a this is how much I used to read. John Phillips had a consensual, I would say consensual. Is it consensual? I mean, Mackenzie said it was. They were doing it. Anyway, he had a relationship with his daughter, Mackenzie Phillips, and she wrote a book about it. Yes, she did. And I read it. Yes, I did. Here's Mackenzie Phillips right here. Yes, she did. And that's because Mr. Phillips was, I mean, they're all on drugs and stuff like that, but God, you would think that even that would make you not want to fuck your kid. I don't know.
The man she was seeing at the time once jokingly said, quote, "If you lose 100 pounds, I'll marry you." Okay, and why would she want to marry him?
I agree. Why would you want to marry somebody who would require that from you? Like if they didn't, I mean, listen, when I met my husband, I was 145 pounds when I met my husband. I was on the shrugs. If my husband told me to lose or gain weight, I would be like, I just don't think maybe we're not compatible. It's not somebody's hand in marriage is not that important to me or valuable to me. This isn't the 1920s. This isn't the fucking, the Gilded Age where people had to fucking care about that stuff. Oh, I need a man. Let me lose 100 pounds for you so I can get married. I'm fucking Cass Elliot. I have a beautiful voice and I don't need a man. I am a man. Not like I'm a man. I am a man. Like, I'm making my own money back in the day,
Mom, I am a rich man.
Yeah, I wouldn't. If somebody told you to do anything, if someone was like, if you listen, maybe not. I was gonna say, if somebody told you to dye your hair blonde and then they'll marry you, if that's what you want to do, I guess. I mean, Edith Piaf said that she would do it in one of her most beautiful songs.
J'irai jusqu'au bout du monde, je me ferai teindre en blonde si tu me le demandais.
But I would, if somebody told me to lose 100 pounds or gain 100 pounds before they married me, I'd be like, oh, this is conditional love. There we go. This is conditional love. That means that if I lose 100 pounds and you marry me and the day after I start gaining weight, I might lose you as a husband. So that's a big no,
At that point.
Scarcity mindset.
At that point, it's like, okay, you are famous, you have a beautiful voice, you have a child. Get this loser man out of your house.
Get that loser out.
Phobia. The
Also,
most
just
beautiful,
misogyny.
wonderful women. If you don't think that you deserve to be loved by
And
somebody,
Just also the misogyny of it all, because it was the 1960s and it was very much like, if you have a child, you need to have a husband.
Okay. They're spitting, like, for real. Like, back in the day, if you were an unwed mother, and fat, I guess, any kind of male attention was, I don't want to call people desperate, but like, people were desperate. And like, you needed a man. I don't know. Isn't that lame? Doesn't that suck? That sucks. That sucks that happened. Even though she was famous and had this beautiful voice and was part of the Mamas and the Papas, like, anybody from any street rat could have came and been like, Cass, you need me. And she would have been like, you're right.
Husband. And I believe I read on her Wikipedia that she actually, her daughter didn't find out who her dad was until he died in 2008.
dangling a family unit in front of her. That's crazy
Yeah.
work.
Also learned that even thin people are on GLP-1s to lose even more weight.
Yeah, just
Nobody's
an
safe.
app.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I used to be like, GLP-1s. But again, you guys, 2026, my campaign was whatever it takes. And if you are still overweight, I mean, my assumption is they probably think maybe somebody who's still just overweight is skinny. So I see no problems with somebody using it to lose like the last like stubborn 20, 30 pounds or whatever. Because it sucks. It's hard. It is hard to lose weight, even if you're like doing the things. And if you can get it off and keep up your lifestyle changes, I'm pretty sure Honey Bison used a GLP-1 to lose the last 10 pounds of her weight, and she's maintained and kept that off. It hasn't, shot right back up. You know what I mean? I don't see any problem with it. Now, I do see a problem with people who are thin. For example, I think there's rumors going around that Ariana Grande is on a GLP-1. I don't think so. I think she's actually literally just not intaking food. And then Kelly Osbourne, we know, was on one, and then I feel like she kind of let it go a little too far. But I did see pictures of her recently, and she looks really good. Like, she looks like she's waking up a little bit, so that's great. So I'm okay with people using it to lose the last, like, stubborn few pounds, but there is a limit. I don't think that doctors should look at somebody and be like, let me get you this medication so we can like make you look a little bit more gaunt. I don't think that's the case.
Appetite suppressant. And that's why it's hard to talk about, especially regarding fat people, because people are going to assume that fat people should be on it. So much of the time I see comments.
I don't look at fat people and be like, she should be on a GLP-1. I look at most fat people. Well, first of all, I don't really care. I don't really look at people and be like, oh, she needs to be on a ketogenic diet. Mm, I look at the country as a whole. I look at our nation. I'm in the United States, by the way, if you couldn't tell. But I look at the nation and I go, holy shit, we're going to lose half of the population in like 20 years because we're all going to die from like heart attacks and stuff. You know, if we don't get control of the obesity epidemic, our numbers are already dropping and they're going to drop even more. If we don't get control of the obesity epidemic, like this generation after us is not even going to have, like, you know how we have that problem where there's like too many old people. Maybe that's the plan. You know how we have that problem where there are too many super, super old people in Congress and we're like, when are you going to, like, you know, hit the dirt, or when are you going to retire? They're not going to have that problem because I feel like so many people in Gen Z and Gen Alpha are like, well, we'll say Gen Alpha. So many people in Gen Alpha, so many kids are obese and they're going to die young. They are going to die young. So yeah, I don't look at regular people and think they need to go on a GLP-1 or they need to go on this specific diet. I do look at this country and go, we need to fix the food here. Like, or we need to stop telling people to eat so much. We need to legitimately eat less and less often. That's what I want to say, is we eat way too often. There's too many snacks. And we were told to eat 3 to 5 small meals a day. No, let your insulin fucking level out.
Commentary about GLP-1s being like, yeah, this is toxic unless you're really big.
Also learned that even thin people are on GLP-1s to lose even more weight.
Yeah, just
Nobody's
an
safe.
appetite suppressant. And that's why it's hard to talk about, especially regarding fat people, because people are going to assume that fat people should be on it. So much of the time I see commentary about GLP-1s being like, yeah, this is toxic unless you're really big.
That makes sense. If you're really big, GLP-1s are not going to like if I'm 100 pounds and I take a GLP-1, not good. If I'm 300 pounds and take a GLP-1, good, right? What works well, not too well. That's why people, do they not understand that weight has an effect on like your dosage and like what goes inside your body as far as like medication? Like you wouldn't give somebody who was 100 pounds the same dose of metformin that you would give somebody who's 300 pounds. Not let's talk about poisons, right? God, I'm not even gonna search this because it might put me on a list. I was gonna search how much arsenic like would it take. Let's randomly, let's just come up with a scenario. So like 100 grams of
Redacted.
probably wouldn't
Give diarrhea to.
a 300-pound person, but would definitely absolutely
Give diarrhea to.
a 100-pound person. So yeah, I can see how some GLP-1 dosages can be toxic to a person who is thin versus this person on the screen.
Wow, Karen.
Okay, so we're talking about Karen Carpenter, both at 32, both from Beating Recorders, yet the way we remember and talk about Cass Elliot and Karen Carpenter is very different. So Karen Carpenter was from the band The Carpenters, and if you're not familiar with any of their songs, my favorite Christmas song is Merry Christmas, Darling. Post a little clip here.
Merry Christmas, darling.
And then they also sang, when do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? That song. If you don't know, you're probably too young. Go to bed. But anyway, Karen had a terrible beating recorder. I'll plug in some photos. But Karen Carpenter died on February 4th, 1983, at the age of 32 from heart failure. Her failure was caused by long-term complications of the beating recorder pandysrexia, and she collapsed in her bedroom. So looking at this, it says both at age 32, both from E followed by the letter D. The way that we remember and talk about Cass Elliot and Karen Carpenter is very different. So let's see what they have to say.
Carpenter was thin and Cass Elliot was fat. They both died from disorders.
Cass Elliot died from a heart attack. I don't think that she died from a beating recorder, but let's see here. I mean, did she have a beating recorder that made her obese? It's possible.
Yet the memories of their deaths are very different.
God, it really speaks to how much people hate fat people, that instead of her death being kind of a warning that this is what fat phobia does, this is what dieting does.
What? Are we talking about Karen or Cass?
It's like, if you want to be thin, you might die.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of taking that, it's instead, haha, big lady choke on ham sandwich.
While Karen Carpenter.
Yeah, that is really sad that that was the rumor for Cass. The comment that, like, if you want to be thin, you might die is kind of extreme. I wouldn't have said those words, but I do say the same thing about fat. So if you want to be fat, you might die. You will. The thing is with Karen Carpenter, I believe I would say that I think Karen Carpenter was probably somebody that would be described as like America's sweetheart, and people were watching her kind of wither away. So I can kind of see people having a little bit more sympathy. I think watching anybody kind of wither away, like for example, we all know who Eugenia Cooney is, and unfortunately if she doesn't get the help that she needs, which I think, you know, people are trying constantly, but you know, you can only you gotta want the help to get the help, unfortunately. But maybe someday it would be very, very odd if it didn't happen, but I'm praying that it doesn't, because that would be just like so terrible that we all watched it. But someday she might not be here anymore, and that would be a big blow. And I think it was a blow for when Karen died too. Like we all were, like people were expecting it to happen, and then it happened. As for Cass, I mean, I can kind of understand where the podcast is saying like it's terrible fat phobia. People made up this rumor about Cass that she died from a ham sandwich and yada yada yada. Both of them did die from complications from their beating recorders. Cass from a heart attack. Karen from, I believe it, like heart attack as well. They abused their bodies to the point of no return. Okay, have you guys read her daughter's biography on Cass? It sucks that apparently the reason her manager came up with the ham sandwich lie was because he didn't want people to know about the drug use and such. Okay, so she was a user. Even at the Mama and the Papa's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Michelle made a comment about how Cass was in heaven eating something good or some bullshit. It's gross. Okay. I wonder if the Mamas and the Papas were super close to Cass, maybe she did eat a lot. Okay, interested in the idea that she died of an ED is coming from. The only info I can find online is that she died of a heart attack unrelated to dieting. I think, I mean, obviously, what builds up a heart attack? Probably, I mean, no healthy person, just very rarely does a healthy person randomly get a heart attack, but usually there's something underlying. For example, my favorite fat person, Chris Farley, died of a drug overdose, but I mean, he probably could have survived it if he didn't have like an inch of plaque in all of his arteries, because he ate like a monster. He really did.
There's a lot of discussion right now about Ariana Grande. I do want to talk about two singers who died from their eating disorders.
So if you haven't seen Ariana Grande, you guys, she is a skeleton on stage. She looks crazy. And at first I was like, she looks the same as she did when she was on tour with Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. But no, she looks like the wife from The Corpse Bride. I was like, is that her? She looks so dead. She looks like Bella's mannequin from Twilight when she was pregnant with Renesmee. She looks like a dying dummy. Like she looks like a dumb, like not dummy like dumb, stupid, but like she looks not real. Like somebody call an ambulance on her.
You got to eat a meal in front of everyone, because if not, we're calling an ambulance.
I already know about Karen Carpenter, but she died at 32 due to heart failure from her years-long battle with anorexia and bulimia. But did you know that Cass Elliot also died of an eating disorder? You know, the beautiful fat singer from the Mamas and the Papas, where there's a famous lie that she died choking on a ham sandwich. Nope. She spent years of her life starving herself and weight cycling.
Okay, so there's... Okay. All right. They're on my list now. Okay, so they're like, she was carving herself. She was weight cycling. That's why she died. And it's like, no, she was fringe beating. And there's a fringe beatings, cycle. There's a little thing called the binge restrict cycle. And the binge part is what, all the shitty food that she was eating is what sent her to her demise, not restricting. This is crazy.
Cycling and using diet pills, and eventually it caught up with her heart. Two very
No, I'm pretty sure. Okay, she was like fucking rock star and she participated in drug use. And just like I mentioned with Chris Farley, you eat like shit, you ruin your heart with food, and then you also ruin your heart with drugs, and that's what sent her to the grave. That's what did her in.
They done the old woman in.
Not the diet pills. I mean, maybe if she was doing diet pills, but like, I mean, those were like crack kind of. I swear to God, you guys, I actually thought that they were going to be like, they were going to acknowledge binge. Like, I actually thought they were going to acknowledge fringe beating recording. I actually thought they were going to acknowledge fringe beating. I really did. I thought that they were going to say, Cass Elliott's fringe beating caused her to get so fat and she died of a heart attack. But no, they're talking about her dying from restricting. Restricting what? And for how long? Because Cass was still a big gal.
Very famous women, both died at 32. Karen was very thin, Cass was a fat woman, and a lot of people don't take Cass Elliott's death seriously because she was fat. We delve way more into this in our first.
Listen, if we're being honest, Cass had a better voice than Karen.
If you love her, then you must send her somewhere where she's never been before.
I'm just there's no reason for me to put that in there or even to keep it in, but I am.
Podcast episode, so if you'd like to hear more, perhaps give us a listen. Since there's a lot of discussion right now about Ariana Grande, I do want to talk about two singers who.
Okay, let's read the comments. All right, Karen died directly. Okay, sorry. Karen Carpenter died not directly from her ED, but from refeeding syndrome related to her tube feeds. When the body is starved, electrolytes can go out of balance. Introducing nourishment too quickly can lead to further imbalance, causing refeeding syndrome, which can cause vomiting, nausea, aspiration, and cardiac arrest. Her and her whatever played a crucial role in her death because she was fed too quickly. No, I mean, she was ticking time bomb, basically. It's just saying. Being fat with a beating recorder is a struggle that receives no empathy. Listen, if you are fat like Cass Elliot and you the beating recorder that you probably have is an eating one, like where you eat more, not where you're not eating. I mean, I know that some people do start somewhere, but it's like, shut up. Cass carved herself, and when your weight goes up and down quickly, it does a number on your health. No one seems to talk about this aspect. People see a fat woman who loses weight and think, oh, she's so healthy now. When she lost weight so quickly, it was very unhealthy, but she's thinner, so people think thinner is always better. Cass Elliot, in 1968, Cass Elliot, let's look at her Wikipedia page. Wikipedia? Let's see. Cass Elliot weighed approximately 300 pounds at 5'5". Elliot herself stated in interviews that she hit a peak weight of 300 pounds before embarking on a severe 6-month crash diet. At the time of her tragic passing, she weighed 238 pounds. She frequently underwent extreme crash diets to lose upwards of 100 pounds at a time, severely impacting her heart and overall health. Okay, but is that why she died? Let's see if they have a before and after. Okay, so I think this is her weight loss video, or her weight loss picture. Hold on. So here is a magazine article from a 1969 issue of Good Housekeeping. And here is what a way to lose 110 pounds with Cass Elliot. And here's her before picture. So she basically lost almost half her body weight, but it doesn't say how. Okay, so the famed pop singer went from 285 to 175 pounds. I've invented a fabulous new diet. It costs $2,000 for each pound you lose. What? It also weakens your natural resistance to disease. I can't guarantee it, but the Mama Cass diet can give you acute tonsillitis, hemorrhaging vocal cords. What the fuck are we putting this in a magazine for? and a dangerous case of hepatitis. At least that's what it did for me. I lost my health and more than $250,000 in earnings. Oh my God. Is she about to say that she did a bunch of coke? I lost weight all right, 110 pounds from a high of 285 on my 5'5" frame. I slimmed down to 175, but I couldn't recommend that diet to anyone because I didn't see a doctor. Why? Well, I knew what I was doing wrong. I knew no doctor would permit a person to go on a crash diet like mine. But I was in a hurry to weigh 110 pounds, and I still am. My diet formula is very simple. For 5 months, I fasted from Monday to Thursday, eating nothing and drinking only water, plus an occasional glass of orange juice. What the fuck? On Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I limited myself to one evening meal of steak and green vegetables, usually broccoli or squash. Sometimes I'd allow myself a half a cup of cottage cheese. Okay, so she went keto on the weekends. From May through October of 1967, I carved off 70 pounds and tried the same diet again for 6 weeks in early 1968 and lost another 40 pounds. The only way to lose 110 pounds in less than a year, but it's also a good way to put yourself into the hospital, which is what happened to me. I don't care what anyone says. It's no fun to be heavy. I'm naturally a happy person. But there were times when I was so depressed about my weight that I had to stay home so people wouldn't see me. All my life, I used my weight as a defense against the world, as an excuse so that I wouldn't have to commute with other women. Oh, compete. I told myself I was different and therefore special. Okay, so she coped. It was a cop-out. If I didn't get what I wanted. Okay, so basically she fasted for most of the week, and on the weekend she allowed herself one meal a day. I wouldn't recommend that. But if you don't know me, I am a faster. I do love to fast, and I fast frequently. I fast intermittently, but I did do an extended fast yesterday. It was like a 27-hour fast. But that's usually just to get back into ketosis because mommy is a ketogenic baby, and ketones are my preferred source of energy. I feel a lot better when I am in ketosis versus when I'm running on carbohydrates. But anyway, so Cass kind of went, I'm sure she had to have been in ketosis. That's crazy though. Very, very extreme and very, very, I would say, dismordered. But I wouldn't say that that was the reason why. I mean, how long ago was this posted? 1969. What year did Cass Elliot die? She died 5 years later. So I wouldn't say that unless she was doing this quite often, I don't know if the crash diet would cause her to die after a Rolling Stones party in her bedroom. I would probably say that maybe she might have done drugs and gave herself a heart attack. And then also being obese quite often can do stuff to your arteries. Okay, me trying to promote our podcast about fatness in this Ozempidemic.
Hold on, can you hear me or see me? Can you hear and see me? Or see me and hear me? Can you see me? Hold on,
Okay, the lie that Cass Elliot died choking on a ham sandwich is just that, a lie. Yet it has persisted for 52 years. So, do you guys remember in Austin Powers when he gets unfrozen and he's like going over all of the artists that died the year that he left or like after he left? And he talked about Cass Elliot dying from a ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich.
And that was the first time I was like, Dad, who's Cass Elliot? And then I learned about the Mamas and the Papas. I've always known that she didn't really choke on a sandwich. But then the rumor did go back to, I definitely did believe that she died of an overdose of some sort. But I guess I kind of still am. She went to a party. She went to her hotel room. She died peacefully in her sleep. Is it possible she may have had an upper?
Very premature death in 1974 at the age of 32 when her manager Alan Carr and her friend / journalist Sue Cameron falsely wrote in Cass's obituary that she died choking on a ham sandwich. According
her manager put that in her obituary. I would haunt the fuck out of somebody if they did that to me. If they lied, if they put it, I mean, the rumor is different, right? The rumor, like, you know, through the grapevine, that's different. But you literally put it in her obituary that she died choking on food when you know that she's probably insecure about her weight. Fucked up.
According to Sue Cameron, Allen had asked her to print the lie because he decided that the humiliating falsehood was preferable to the implication that Elliot's death was associated with substance abuse. Instead of being honest about the very real reality, especially young.
Yeah, instead of being like, this was a rock star, she chilled with the Rolling Stones and she died in her hotel room like a lot of people in the 60s and 70s. Let's go ahead and say that she choked on a sandwich.
Young people who get famous early in substance abuse, he thought, have the fat singer choke on a ham sandwich and die. That'll be good.
I grew up hearing that and I thought it was true.
I also grew up hearing that. And then you learn that it wasn't true and you're like, wait, that actually makes sense because it's a little too on the nose. After her very...
I can't agree there.
Vaughn invited...
Oh, this is about prediabetes. All right, a lot of us have been using the term prediabetes, but do you know where it comes from and what it actually means? Listen to our first episode and find out. I do know what it means, and I had it, and I reversed it.
Vaughn invited half a dozen diabetes thought leaders, nightmare blunt rotation, to brainstorm at the National Institute of Health's cafeteria in Bethesda, Maryland, where they decided the term prediabetes rocked.
There you have it.
That was the birth of prediabetes.
So what was the outcome of Mr. Richard Kahn doing that?
What this aimed to do was to have people take diabetes more seriously and to see elevated blood sugar levels as a warning sign and to then maybe hopefully do some preventative measures so that they wouldn't reach the level of type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, I like that. Sounds about right. I think it's important for people to pay attention to their fasting blood glucose. And if you are having a hard time losing weight or you believe that you may have... Oh my God, I'm looking at the picture. It stopped. If you're having a hard time losing weight or you believe that you may be insulin resistant, which a lot of the people in this country are insulin resistant. What's the percentage? What percent of USA is insulin resistant? 40% of US adults have US resistance. Have US resistance? Have insulin resistance, okay? If you are concerned that you might have insulin resistance, a great idea would be to start measuring your blood glucose levels and preventing prediabetes.
And so what this actually did was it took diabetes from being seen as medical to then kind of presenting, hey, there's this thing prediabetes, which happens before diabetes, and that means you have this time to prevent it. And if you don't, that is a failure on your part because you could have lost weight, but now you have diabetes. Okay,
but you know, medical things can be like people's faults, right? Like alcoholic fatty liver disease can be the fault of the person who's the alcoholic. Type 2 diabetes is I'm not even saying almost 100% preventable. I'm just going to say this. It is a preventable disease. Type 2 diabetes is preventable. If you're like the 0.1% of people who literally cannot prevent type 2 diabetes due to some random, damage to your pancreas or something like that, sorry, you're not the person I'm talking about. Type 2 diabetes is preventable. Pre-diabetes was a way for people to be was like the yellow light flashing, like the warning, hey, if you don't stop gaining weight and you don't take control of like your sugar intake, your pancreas is going to give up on you and you're going to be type 2 diabetic. I don't know why they're trying to demonize pre-diabetes. What a weird thing to talk about. I don't know. Are they upset that like now this is one of those situations where like the obesity acceptance where fat acceptance goes, don't medicalize obesity, don't medicalize us fat people, yada yada yada. And then this person was like, they took it away, they took medicalization of type 2 diabetes away from us, and now they're making it seem like it's our fault. Listen, it is still medicalized and it is your fault. Like if I got type 2 diabetes, me, Robin, got type 2 diabetes, the only person I could blame would be myself. Really. Because I know exactly how to prevent it. There is so much research out there and there is so much there's so much out there. There's even different diets that work for different people if you want to go out and explore and try new things. There is so much research out there showing how to prevent type 2 diabetes. And it starts with reducing your sugar intake. Sorry, reduce your carbs. Sorry, sugar's a carb. Sugar is a carb.
Age of 32.
Jesus.
For her legacy to have devolved into like, haha, fat lady died eating a ham sandwich, when so much of her life was basically being at battle with her weight, but also because of everybody around her who did not like her weight or the way she looked and wanted her to be at war with herself. And so she spent so much of her life losing weight, gaining weight, using drugs, trying to fit into a specific mold that people thought a famous singer should fit into, and she died.
So I do agree that a lot of what caused Cass issues was I would say the lifestyle, the rock and roll lifestyle, and the partying. But what she did have was an untreated fringe beating recorder. So yes, she did go through cycles of restriction, but I mean, you don't get to be almost 300 pounds with restriction. You don't. You don't.
Died at 32, which is very similar to Karen Carpenter. She went back to her apartment and died in her sleep at the age of 32.
Jesus.
Amount of times that I've
Okay, so this I think is episode 2 now, and they only have 3 posts. Thank God, because this was getting to be a long episode. Raise your hand if you have also been tricked by seeing cool curve models only for hers to appear. Oh, so hers is a weight loss medication advertisement, I guess. Weight loss medication offered by hers.
I've been watching an ad and I'm like, oh wow, yay, there's fat people in this ad. And then it's like, Ozempic.
And this is how she lost her weight.
Yeah, they're like, let's show a bunch of happy, hot, fat women, but they want to be skinny. So don't get too happy about it. Amount of times that I've been...
Hey, aren't we all allowed to have our own bodily autonomy? Aren't we allowed bodily autonomy? Aren't we allowed to want to lose weight if we decide to lose weight? Are you judging them? Also, it's a model. She needs to make money too. Are you against women making their own money?
If you wash a food, that is considered a process.
You guys, I feel like we could be sisters. Hold on. Could we be sisters, or am I just like seeing bangs? Am I just seeing another white girl with bangs who has a moon face?
Processed food. If you chop a food, that is considered a processed food. And
oh my fucking God. This is my worst, like one of my least favorite arguments. So when someone says processed food, I'm getting used to now saying ultra processed food, because I feel like when you say ultra processed food, no one's going to be able to say like, well, a cut apple is a processed food. So if you're arguing against processed foods, you need to start saying UPF or ultra processed foods. But the whole argument that like, well, everything is processed, even bottled water is processed food. Are you saying water isn't healthy? No, I'm not saying that. What we're talking about is processed food, like food that you can't just go out and pick and cut from your garden or whatever. So like there's I'll put the table up. So these are the different types of processed and unprocessed foods. So like there's unprocessed or minimally processed foods. That's something that you can pick from your garden or from a tree, right? Something that's whole food, one ingredient basically, or unless you put it together, right? Processed culinary ingredients like salts, spices, butter. So something that goes from like a whole food to just like very, very minimally getting turned into another. I would still say butter's like a whole food in my opinion. Then there's processed, which I would still say that these foods are minimally processed. So like canned fruits and vegetables, salted nuts, seeds, like these are still, I feel like they're still in the green for me. And then there's the ultra processed food, sugar sweetened beverages, sweet, savory packaged snacks, instant soups, breakfast cereals, energy bars, mass produced packaged breads, Anything that comes with a barcode that you can't find in the wild, basically. But as far as like canned stuff, less bad. Less bad. I would still say that they're kind of in the green because that's just food storage. That's for your safety, right? Cured meats can be in the red, I guess. But yeah, that's what we mean when we talk about processed food. But let's hear what they have to say about processed foods.
Any food altered from its natural state, if you're not just straight up biting into like,
it's just such a dumb like, well, actually moment, because it's like, yeah, we know that like technically semantically, yes, that is processed food, but when someone's talking about like, ew, we don't eat processed food in this house, they mean that they don't eat packaged food with barcode.
like a fruit or vegetable, it is going to be a processed food. And that,
like, nobody thinks taking a fruit from their tree and cutting it up, that doesn't count as processed. In my opinion, that does not count as processed.
that, my friends, is okay.
And we support that.
We support altering foods from their natural states.
Yeah, but if you're the one doing it, I mean, again, it's ultra processed that we don't like. And some minimally processed.
And then eating them and enjoying them.
If you wash a food, that is considered a processed food.
Like, what a dumb argument. Like, seriously, they put this on they kept it in the podcast. Like, actually, if you take a fruit and you cut it, technically you're eating a processed food. No, I would say no, you're not. I would say no, you're not. What would you guys say? Does that still count as processing a food to you? I mean, technically, like again, the word, you are processing it, but it's not like you're doing it. Like, you are the one doing it. I don't know. It's just not the same, in my opinion.
It's okay as an actor to turn down a role.
Especially when you have money. Money.
It's okay.
If you wash...
Okay, so let's read. A new episode is live. Also denormalized fat suits. It's actually okay to just hire a fat actor. We promise it'll be okay. Listen, no. I would say bring back the fat suit, because there are a lot of, I mean, Brendan Fraser did a great job. He was an Oscar winner. It's actually not a healthy thing to ask an actor to either gain or lose weight. I don't agree with that. I mean, sometimes it's necessary. The Machinist was pretty good. But listen, where are the fat actors? Where are the fat actors? Where was the 600-pound fat actor that was supposed to play the guy in The Whale? I don't know. Was there one that's good enough, that has a portfolio? Because those roles also are far and few in between. So I don't see I'm okay with fat suits, but let's hear what she has to say, and then we'll call it a day.
It's okay as an actor to turn down a role.
Especially when you have money. Money.
It's okay if you're a famous actor to say, hey, this role is really interesting and I find it cool, but maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'm not the person meant to play this role. It's okay as an actor.
Okay, they didn't bring up any fat suits, but I'm assuming that's what they're going to be talking about. But anyway, what do you guys think about fat suits? I'm totally okay with fat suits. I think hiring fat suits means hiring more makeup artists, which I'm down for. I'm kind of sick of special effects. Please bring back practical effects. Like, my brain, I'm done. I'm so tired of being like, that looks fake. Whereas before, if it's practical effects, it's like, and makeup, it's more realistic to me. I don't know why. Is it because you can make makeup look like actual skin and it's difficult to make CGI look like actual skin or like actual like monsters? I don't know. Why do video games do better at it than a movie? Is it because they spend 12 years making one video game? Somebody tell me in the comments below. But anyway, that is our episode today. What did you guys think? I'm definitely going to be covering this podcast in the future. I'm going to let them gather a couple more episodes. We're not going to cover any of these since we've covered them today. So maybe next episode I will cover on the channel. As far as their energy, I actually do like them. I have a feeling like if I was in a room, it would be a very fun argument. Like, I don't think that people would be nasty. They don't give me nasty vibes, which I like. And the cat person, I like them. The cat person seems funny as fuck, and I'm vibing. I don't know why, but I'm vibing with them. That said, they do have dumb takes on the fat acceptance community, and hopefully one day they'll realize that being in a fat acceptance community is actually almost close to being in a cult and is dangerous. And maybe some of the information on their podcast might be dangerous information to pass on, and it is almost my civic duty to listen to their next episode and debunk and argue with some of the things that they bring up. What do you guys say? What do you guys think? If you guys made it this far into the episode, thank you so much for being here still. If you haven't already, consider giving me a subscribe and like the video. Oh, don't forget, if it is giving you the option to hype it, to hype this video, because it actually has been helping me out a ton. If you made it to this very, very exact point, leave a sandwich in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Thank you very, very much. I will see you later this week. Goodbye.
Last day I knew you were my pet. I wanna tell you that I love